Welcome to another Lock&Hackle video. I'm your host. I'm behind the camera today, not in front of it. In my last video that finally got posted to YouTube, I was out doing some small creek fishing, and with the new rod, which is front and center, the star of this show. This is a rod that was gifted to me. My wife actually got it for me through a friend of mine, and he is a rod builder, and I'll have try and have some information on that in the video. And whenever he and I would go out, I'd have like a 7-foot rod. It was like a 4-weight. He's like, man, you really need to go below a 4 and start with a 3 or a 2, maybe even a 1-weight. I'm like, I don't know, I'm just afraid I'll break it, walking through the trees. Well, he contacted my wife and said, hey, I'm working on a project, and they cohorted, and for Father's Day, which is several months ago, this was presented to me along with a really nice reel. And I was like, okay, and I saw the name. I was like, no way. So I texted my friend. I was like, hey, dude, thanks so much for the rod. I haven't had the opportunity to go out, but next time I go, I will take it. Well, the first trip I took it on, I went here and through the Cahutta Wilderness, Spring Mountain, all that stuff. That was a tough trip. Maybe I'll put some pictures in that. I didn't post a video about that trip because the only thing that happened was me and a buddy walked several miles to the point that the soles of our wader boots came off. That sucked. So let's get into the rod. So it's a 2-piece. It's hard to get the color. In the light, it is a beautiful kind of a British green-gray color. It's a 2-piece rod. That's one reason he got a really good deal on building this for me. Was typically the more pieces a rod is, the more expensive it's going to be, because you have more ferrules that have to be built. You have to measure out the eyelets to the best of their ability, and it's really cheaper to do it in 2 or 1 length. The bottom section of the rod is absolutely gorgeous. It even has my name on it. You probably saw it. And it's my rod. It was built for me. It has a wonderful thin single swell cigar handle. And he did say he didn't put it did have a crack in it right here. I'm like, oh, that's fine with me. Really nice. I got some paper from the reel. Like a burl wood reel seat with a brushed lock up reel seat lock and double locking rings, which is nice. Walking through the woods and you're bumping stuff. We do have a hook keeper, which we know how to use that. We have really nice and agate stripping guide, which you really don't do a whole lot of stripping with a 2-weight. And then an actual snake guide at the end. I do like the way that the spigot ferrule is done. It's not left rough, which a lot of times those can be a booger to get apart, especially when they get wet and that graphite gets wet and gets kind of sticky, and you put them together, you cannot get them apart. But the fact that this one has some epoxy and gloss on it, it comes apart really nice. You don't have to worry about trying to break the rod, trying to get it apart. There is, if you can read that, there is the name. And in the video, I think I made a comment, I didn't know what size it was. It's a 6'6". So RYE Rods, 6'6", 2-weight. And before I really took this thing out, I was like, how does it, in the environments that you're fishing, when you would typically be fishing a rod this small, you don't do the conventional river runs through it type of casting. You're not doing that 10 and 2, a double haul, single haul type casting with a fly rod. You're pretty much dabbing. You're putting the rod tip above the water and drifting it across, and sometimes you're just flipping it right back to where you were, or you're actually doing a bow and arrow cast where you would grab the line and you would bend the rod and let it go in those environments. That's what we were doing on some of these streams that are in these maps here. Very nice. I was very shocked with it. If you have, I'll try and get a screenshot of some of his social media, and maybe not, maybe I'll ask him first, make sure. But you saw the name, you can pause it at whatever minute the picture was. The reel that was selected, which was quite interesting, my wife picked up this Echo off of Amazon, and was, you know, it's a very nice aluminum reel. It doesn't have any clicking on the retrieve. It's got a very tight drag on it. It's the low end Echo. I can't remember what the model number was. You can look it up. It is a 1 to 3 weight reel. It doesn't look it, but it is very small. It's maybe a 2.5, 2 3/4 inch reel, but it is wide, so you do have ample space for fly line. I am using, again, this was some weight forward 2 weight. I got a little sticker here, but it got wet. It's called Spring Green, 90 feet, and then I have roughly 40 feet or 30 of some orange backing tied on there. And to cast this rod, like go outside and do the 10 and 2 casting, I was really surprised that I could cast close to 35-40 feet with this little 6'6" rod. I would say that it is a full flex graphite rod. I'm down here at the ferrule, and we have lots of flex. And then even in the back section of it, when I was fighting that trout, I really wish I'd had a video of it. I could feel, yeah, I mean, I don't know if you can see that, but there's enough flex that you can feel it in the handle. It was quite impressive. And I had never really had that sensation since I was cheating myself by only fishing with, 4 weight and above. Go out small stream fishing with a 6 weight rod. You miss a lot of fish because they're not nearly as sensitive. So some of the information that I got on this rod from him was, it was a 2-piece blank, obviously. He got it through a company, it's called the Rain Shadow Baston Blank in graphite. I don't know if it's an IM6 or IM7, IM8 style of graphite, but I will say this, it is very sensitive, very, very sensitive. I can't say enough about the rod. It was so fun to take out. I mean, I really can't wait to take it again. It's just a beautiful rod. It looks really good outdoors, especially when you look at where the ferrule is. He's got this kind of this green gold thread mixed in right there. Looks really nice. I've never built a rod. I've repaired rods, so I can only imagine the concentration it takes to keep all those eyelets in line, and then you have to roll it on a machine that does this particular number to keep all the epoxy from dripping. He custom ordered a tag on it, so it has my last name, my first initial and last name down here by the hook keeper. Just a beautiful rod. I guess what I'm trying to say is, if you're in fly fishing and you're out there, if you're going into small mountain streams, or maybe even just want to go tackle some bluegill, man, go with a really lightweight rod. It is so much fun. It's again, like, it's easier to maneuver through the woods, especially if I'm carrying it in its 2 pieces like this. It's so much easier to carry through the woods, or even if I have it assembled. It is very easy to navigate through the woods. It's not 8-9 feet, getting hung up on everything. It was such a nice experience. I just wanted to make a short video. The rod is wonderful. It is a custom rod, and I know the maker, so if there's any issues, I can just, hey man, what's up with this? And he'll be like, oh. But get into the blue lining, small stream, small weight fly rods, and I think you'd greatly enjoy it. So that's my little 10-minute review on this wonderful fly rod. I'll give you one more. Oops, sorry, hit the camera. One more look. I got the light there. You can kind of see the color in it. It's absolutely gorgeous. Again, great handle. You can hold on to it all day. It doesn't have any. It's very soft cork, by the way. I don't really know. I believe it's just a generic cork handle, but it's very, very, very soft. And it just looks wonderful. That brushed aluminum. One thing I do like about this reel seat is the threads are not very coarse. They're kind of like these rounded threads, which I found, like if you're in a stream or something and you have to set your rod down, sometimes you have to fix your line, and that means you have to sometimes take the reel off and pop the reel off of itself and fix the line because something happened. I found that on some, when you're going to move these locking nuts, grit gets inside these things and they don't want to move. I found on this rod, I did set it down in the muck and grime of the creek, and at the end of the day, when it went to go disassemble the rod and put it away, it had sand and whatever else on it, but it didn't affect these. You can see there's a little bit of play in there. It kind of moves the sand out of the way, or the sand doesn't get trapped in it, which is very nice. So when you go to wipe it down, it just comes right off. It's not inside those lands and grooves where it can get tied up. That was just something I noticed. Very nice. And another thing, it doesn't have a rubber cap on the end. I know a lot of fly rod kits that you buy, a lot of them come with just like a rubber plug that goes in the end of here. This is nice. I like this very much. I was thinking of actually having something engraved in that. I'm not sure what, but that would look nice. Anyway, that is the RYE Rods 2-weight fly rod review. I will see you on the other side.